The United States signed hundreds of treaties with Native American nations, promising land, sovereignty, and protection in exchange for peace and territory. Yet, history has shown that these agreements were often ignored, broken, or reinterpreted to benefit the federal government. So, are Native American treaties still legally valid, or are they relics of the past? Legally, treaties between the U.S. and Native nations are still binding. Under the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution, treaties are considered the supreme law of the land. In theory, this means that the government is obligated to uphold the promises made to tribes. As Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch stated in McGirt v. Oklahoma, 2020, the government must be held to its word. However, in practice, many treaties have been ignored or overridden. Throughout history, the federal government has violated agreements by seizing land, undermining tribal sovereignty, and failing to provide resources promised in treaties. The Dawes Act of 1887, for example, broke up tribal lands despite existing treaty protections, leading to massive land loss for Native nations. Modern legal battles continue to test the strength of these treaties. In recent years, cases like United States, Washington have reaffirmed treaty rights, such as native fishing rights in the Pacific Northwest. Yet, at the same time, Supreme Court rulings, like Oklahoma v. Castro Huerta, 2022, have weakened tribal jurisdiction, raising concerns that treaty rights are still at risk. Another challenge is that many Americans view these treaties as outdated. Some argue that since Native people are now U.S. citizens, treaties should no longer apply. However, this ignores the fact that tribal nations are sovereign entities with government-to-government relationships with the U.S. These treaties were not favors. They were negotiated agreements in exchange for land, resources, and peace. So, are Native American treaties still legally valid? Yes. But the bigger question is whether the U.S. government will continue to honor them or find new ways to break them. After centuries of treaty violations, Native nations are still fighting to ensure that the promises made to them are kept. What do you think? Let's continue the conversation.